In this video, I'll walk through some steps to find any possible outliers in a data set. Here we're given some instructions. Find the lower fence and the upper fence and any outliers in the data. Okay, so step by step. First of all, the lower fence is the first quartile minus 1.5 times the interquartile range. And the upper fence is the third quartile plus 1.5 times the interquartile range. So these are numbers. The lower fence is a number and the upper fence is a number. And the outliers are any numbers that fall either below the lower fence or above the upper fence. Okay, so let's find those. We need the interquartile range and the first quartile to find the lower fence. So let's put these numbers in order real quickly. All right, we have to have the numbers in order to find the median and the quartiles. So first, the median is right here in between these two numbers. So I'll put that median equals 35 because we have 4 numbers on the left and 4 numbers on the right. Then we're going to use, we don't use the median, at least we won't in this video. We use the remaining 4 numbers. So 23, 25, 28, and 35. So the first quartile will be right in between 25 and 28. So I'll label that Q sub 1. The first quartile is halfway between 25 and 28. That looks like that would be 26.5. The third quartile will be halfway between 40 and 44, right? Halfway between, or right in the middle of these remaining 4 numbers. So third quartile would be 42. Then our interquartile range, our IQR, will equal the third quartile minus the first quartile. So that will equal 42 minus 26.5. And that equals 15.5. So there's our interquartile range. I'll label that here. And that's what we're going to use here and here. We have also our first quartile that we'll use here and our third quartile that we'll use here. Okay, let's start putting those numbers in. So the lower fence is the first quartile, 26.5 minus 1.5 times 15.5, and that is 26.5 minus 23.25. So the lower fence will equal 3.25. That's our lower fence. I'll abbreviate it LF, lower fence. The upper fence, let's find that upper fence now. That equals the third quartile, 42, plus 1.5 times the interquartile range, again is 15.5. We've already done that multiplication over here, so that equals 42 plus 23.25. So 42 plus 23.25 is the upper fence. And that would be 65.25. So if you were to put this on a rough number line here, here's our number line, and we've got these, I'll say I'll put 0 there. We've got 3.25 is our lower fence. And then we have up here 65.25 is our upper fence. Here, I'll label that lower fence. Do we have any numbers up here that lie either below 3.25 or above 65.25? Yeah, we do. So this 90 would be an outlier. So I'll put that up here. I'll say outliers. I'll just label it one outlier because we have the one. 90. And the reason that is an outlier is, again, because 90 would be above what we would call that upper fence. So that's the steps. Those are the steps to finding any outliers. So I'll just review that again. First, find the first and third quartiles, and those are found by finding the middle of the remaining numbers after you find the median. Then subtract those two to get the interquartile range. Then plug it into this formula for the lower fence and the upper fence. First quartile minus 1.5 times the interquartile range, and third quartile plus the 1.5 times the interquartile range. Place those. You don't have to put these on a number line, but you can compare those to any numbers in the data set. If you have any less than the lower fence, that's an outlier. If you have anything greater than the upper fence, that's an outlier. And we did that time, so therefore 90 is an outlier. I hope that helps.